Welcome to thestockminer.com. This is Brian Johnson, and not a whole lot to speak about today. Everything was very flat. Fine by me. We had very nice temperatures here, so spent a lot of time doing stuff outside. But overall, really no movement at all in the markets. Very evident by what we saw here. Move up yesterday right into this overhead resistance line that we had drawn in, and test. Cannot break it and wander sideways for a while right into where? Support. Yeah, so we have this rising 20 coming in, holding very well as support on the 60-minute time frame. So watching now to see if it'll actually get below this or if this will be a springboard for another move to the upside. Any move to the upside, of course, will point me towards this upper blue line. Very slow, but as long as the bulls hold it up here, it is still bullish. So starting to see little teeny tiny doji candles up here. Yes, it does appear like we're getting into and near a top, but once again, don't let these things influence you. Just because they're small doji candles means nothing to me right now. I got to see some confirmation on this because we've seen this type of consolidation before, and it is always proving to be bullish. Yes, that's right. Bullish. Look back here. You can see small little consolidation. Bullish. Right in through here. Bullish. So I'm really in not any kind of a panic mode yet. It's very close. You've heard that from everybody, I'm sure. But to be quite honest with you, I really do believe within the next week or two we will start to see that larger pullback. Markets, I think, are just set for it. But if they keep wandering sideways like this, you have to remain neutral to bullish on the market, even though we went nowhere today. 4 points today overall in the Dow by the end of the day, with a total move of about what 50 points total, high to low. Very difficult to trade. Recommend you not try doing it in markets like this, or I should say days like this. Not markets like this, but days like this. Overall, we've had a pretty good trend the last few days, especially in the NASDAQ, which again did very well, up 15 points and breaking to these new highs up here. So you can see the NASDAQ finally catching up with the rest of the markets. Just strong as usual. No help from Apple today, surprisingly enough, but still strong enough with the other stocks to climb its way upwards. So here we are. NASDAQ putting in new highs after the consolidation and the breakout. Look at that. Pow. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Textbook TA. NASDAQ daily as well, up another day. So here we go. Continue our climb. Bears had a chance right here to drag it below the 20-day. Chose not to do anything about it. And the bulls took over again. Quickly moving it right back up and into new highs. So you can see coming into the end of the week, it's been nothing but straight up all week long. Weekly as well, you're going to see this big white candle. Hard to believe that this is going to end up down in this area anymore. So after tomorrow, I think things are trying to do their best to stay in a consolidation pattern, at least into the end of the month, and that would be on Monday. Monday is the last day for January. Let's see if anything changes between then, but hard to believe that anything would. Barring any major news announcements, looks like this is about where we're going to end up by the end of tomorrow, more than likely maybe by the end of the month as well. So NASDAQ still very strong. SPX also moving up and hitting new highs, getting above that 1300 level, but look at that, not by much. Does not want to find its strength quite yet. But this move, even so, move up, consolidate, move up, still very bullish in the short term here. I shouldn't say very bullish. I should say still optimistically bullish. How about that? That's a better word, I believe. So bouncing off the 20-day, you can see the push up and into this 1300-ish area, which it is struggling with. I don't think it broke it until right around the very end of the day. It's certainly not a trade I'm going to take at the very end of a day and or hold overnight, unless I'm in the futures, of course. So if this continues upwards, let's look for those upper levels of 1310 to 1320 to be met at some point. SPX also looking very good here from a weekly. I was kind of hoping we'd see maybe another start to a pullback after last week. No such luck. Market's still very strong, so up we go. Tomorrow night, this candle closes. Have a better feel then, but hard to believe at this point anything would change too drastically much in the weeklies. Daily, on the VIX, dropping, of course. Back down 2.82%, even though the markets went nowhere. The VIX is collapsing. Why? Just nothing to worry about. Once again, no pushes above 19 or 20, nothing above the 20-week moving average. Just no reason to panic in through here, and the VIX is reflecting that. There's no panic whatsoever from investors as it tries to come back down and reach some of these lower levels once again. Apple 60-minute down 64 cents. Look at this thing, just dribbled all day long, coming right back into another line of support, that 20 period on the 60-minute chart as well. Let's see if that doesn't help catapult it from here. But you're looking for still moves above 345. If you're not long, I'd wait for moves above, 346 probably, and or maybe below 342 if you really want to try to short Apple. But those would be my entries based on what we have today. And look at the two small candles we put in the last couple days, rebounding from all the volatility it had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of really good strong movement by Apple, now met by 2 kind of days of consolidation as investors decide just what the heck they're going to do up in this area. I'll be watching very closely for moves one way or the other, and I certainly wouldn't guess at this point which way Apple would go. It is a fundamentally strong stock, but it's in a very, very tight area right now. I would wait and let it make up its mind which way it's going to go. It's being held up by this overhead resistance line. Not because I drew that overhead resistance line in, but because that overhead resistance is right near the top. So you can see it getting very, very stretched up here. Looking for pushes up and into that area above that 346 area. It can still get you back another $2-3 maybe in Apple if it decides to move its way up into Friday. Fridays have been reasonably good to the market, so no reason to think that if we don't see some strength come into the markets tomorrow, we should see Apple move with it. It's consolidated for a couple of days. It's about time for it to start moving again, and because it's hanging around up top, I got to be more bullish on it than anything. FAS saw a move today. This one did well, 68 cents. It's a 2% move when the rest of the markets went nowhere. Kind of surprising that the financials moved and these really, or the financials moved and the markets really didn't. They didn't go along with it. But overall, breaks above $30.50. That was my entry for you. That gave you an opportunity to make a little bit of money. If you're still in this, I'm still looking at that overhead area of about $31. $31, maybe 31 to 31.25 is still my overhead target on that. If it'll get up above that, we could retest the highs back around 31.60ish and maybe even beyond that. Be very careful with the financials in this area, but this was an excellent trade if you took it. Above 30.50 for the call on that. FAZ then still lacking, cannot find its footing. Just can't get above any of the lines we've got drawn in and isn't dropping below any of the lines that we've been talking about. Not below 820. It's not above any of these lines up here. So all of the same levels I've given you the last few days still stick. From a bigger standpoint, I'm really liking let me go back to the daily here. From the bigger standpoint, I'm really liking it more above here, above 925-ish or so, ultimately 950-ish or so in the bigger picture. But below 820-ish, still opportunity to see the financials move up and then FAZ drop. So for any of you bottom dwellers that have been trying to buy all the way down here, I'm sure you're in a lot of pain right now and hoping for a bottom. I can't give that bottom to you yet because it hasn't been put in. The market and the charts have not told me that a bottom is in yet in FAZ by any stretch of the imagination. I do believe that once the financials and once the markets start to move, it'll be violent. So this will probably be one of those situations where it might go from, let's just say, 838 to 950 in one day. We could absolutely see a big move like that for a day, maybe two, within the financials when the markets decide to pull back. There will be a couple of days, I believe, that are going to be very violent. However, guessing at when that might be is not something I like to do, nor is it something I teach my students. Just not worth it. I try to teach my students how to be smart investors and not just guess at the market. There's a big difference between the two. So don't be a guesser. Get your education, learn how to do it the correct way so that you know and you're comfortable about when to get in, when to get out, and where your target prices are, and how to draw your lines in. That'll make a world of difference in your trading. Once again, it won't necessarily make it a lot more. It won't necessarily make trading easy, but it makes it a lot more simple. I should expand on that someday, but it's the truth. Okay, guys, we'll see you again then tomorrow for the evening, for the Friday night wrap up. See you then. Bye.